Hey, it's your narrator here. Thank you so much for listening to our tale. Special thanks to our subscribers on Ko-Fi, Scav, Xbox Unofficial, Kane, Sky, Maelstrom Star, Flowerfield, and David Draws. Your support means more you can know. Our background music is by Marika Shans, with a closing by Cody, and an opening by Ben McElroy. Our art is by our very own Corey, voice of Virgil. Now why don't you sit with me and look up at the sky? You see the stars? They're telling us a story, if we want to listen. The oceans overwhelm. Most, anyways. But the carriage ambles on. These friends, fools, are lucky. Or maybe it's not luck, depends who you ask, really. I helped them. I could help them. Mushrooms grow on the carriage, a moving island. Won't last long. Lasted long enough. They spoke with Commander Umbra. Ox has blood on his hands, she says. But no matter, right? They're friends, these fools. And now they're back with Oxalis Camphor. He is hiding. Georgette's been helping him build. This is a vessel, she says. He'll be safer. From Scarlet. Hopefully. Another piece of soul. Well, soon. But for now, friends reunite.
Kind of stalls a little bit. He takes his time. They wander back. He'll point out like some of his favorite rock formations and, well, over there, that's where Ann and I used to like to climb up and look at the stars a whole lot. As they get closer, he'll point out some of his favorite scraps of metal in the heaps and piles. Well, Ann and I always called them carapaces. You know, like an insect carapace, because that's kind of what it is. It's just a shell. We figure it's kind of like a carriage, but it doesn't look like it has any room for an animal to really tow it in front. So, yeah, they're just kind of here. They've always been here. Stops as they approach the door, and he'll look and turn back to the group. She's a character. Don't take too much offense if she's a little standoffish at first. She's a good one.
Excited to meet her. Can you remind me again who she is to you?
She's like a parent, sort of. She was really more of Ian's parent, but she's not his mother. She looked after us, taught us all she knew about explosives and black powder and mechanics.
In that order.
She's kind of all I have left.
I look forward to meeting her.
He gives a wry little smile, and he'll turn back to the door.
Just as you reach forward to knock on it, the door opens. Georgette stands there with a hand on her hip, looking up at all of you. You can call me the guardian of this place, if you want to know who I am.
It's so nice.
Get inside.
Okay.
You find yourself in a warm, well-lit, but very cluttered and messy workshop/living space. It seems as though beds and chairs, things like this, are secondary to the purpose of the room, at least at the moment. In the back, you can still see the remnants of the work that Ox and Georgette have been doing this past couple weeks. Georgette kind of looks at all of you, and then to Ox, taps her foot.
Well, Georgette, these are my friends that I've been traveling with for a while. This is Kian, he, they pronouns.
Well, or she sometimes. Nice to meet you. Yeah, Kian holds out a hand to shake.
She takes it, just a single firm shake, and you pull back your hand with a few more grease smudges on it than originally. She looks over to you again, Ox.
This is Virgil. Hey, him. He comes from Dawning. And that over there is Carrot.
Carrot waves.
Also him. And, well, his reputation sort of precedes him. So, this is Henry.
I'm going to introduce my pronouns.
Her expression doesn't change from person to person, except for Henry. She sort of raises a brow, but there's not much beyond that. She nods. Georgette, as you've heard, this the new crew then.
Yeah, this is pretty much everyone.
So what's your deal then?
That's a really big question.
Keeping each other safe?
Of course. Yeah, we do our best. I'm kind of trying to figure out what we're planning to do, but
Well, it's more that we all have complicated problems that are easier solved not alone.
She nods. Planning on staying here and laying low, or are you getting out here as soon as possible?
I think we were planning to stay on the move.
well, we need to catch Ox up on some things we learned, but we've got things to check out.
Good, because I don't have shit for you. She sits down on the workbench.
Well, I don't think we'll really be too long. They've got their own carriage out there and they can handle themselves. I figured we'd finish up our project and I'd start to be on my way again.
What are you making?
Keen kind of looks at the table and tries to get any idea of like what's being worked on.
Taking up most of the table is this blueprint and pieces related to it.
It would be investigation, right?
I want to join the roll.
Yeah, I want to Scooby-Doo peer with all of you guys.
Since it's investigation, I got a 22. So.
Rolled a 1 on the table, then rolled a 1 in my tray.
12 for Henry. He's trying to basically wants to be able to guess what it is for Ox. Starts talking about it.
You don't understand really how the blueprint works. You don't have the tech and arcana knowledge to piece together that sort of instruction. It is almost like another language that you're investigating right now. But you do see a little drawing in the corner, not in the official blueprint itself, but like on some of the pages, little notes scattered around, little mushrooms. And as you notice that and then investigate a little bit further, you can see a triangle, basically piece of something that at first you thought was metal, but now that you see closer, you can see the gills of some sort of fungus on it. With a 12, and you do have a knowledge, you have more of a mechanical knowledge than Kian does. I think you can tell that this blueprint it kind of almost looks like it's for a golem or something like that. Like there is some mechanical as well as biological element to it, and it looks very old. But I think that's about all you can get.
Well, it's supposed to be something that's gonna help me with my troubles with Scar. The idea is that I'll be safer with this. It's sort of hard to explain.
Safer in what kind of way?
Hopefully she won't be able to scry on me as much.
Does that have something to do with mushrooms?
He sort of looks at Georgette.
It's a part of the ignition for the ladder.
Like a magical source?
She nods.
So the anti-scrying properties then are only when you have your lighter lit? Or
Yeah, how does that work?
It's more about how things are combined within. She gives Ox a little nudge. I'm sure you're aware he's a poetic sort. Doesn't have to be a lighter.
I don't understand.
She looks you up and down and nods like she's not surprised.
You just got dumb blonde. Did.
Not that you're not poetic sort, I get that.
He writes poetry.
Well, I know.
Oh.
the way you're describing it doesn't sound like it's something that is always active, or perhaps there's more of a chance element to it.
She sighs heavily, like with a deep impatience. You mind if I explain?
Yeah, be better if you do.
Right, well, it runs out once in a while, and Ox is going to have to refill it. Runs on these... She gestures to the mushroom piece that you found. These here, that shouldn't run out for a long, long time. And the lighter fluid's essentially this boy's blood.
Essentially.
Okay.
Oh,
No, I want clarification on that. Is there something else added to it?
Well, yes, it's more than just blood and mushrooms.
Like what? Like a preserving agent or like a coagulant? Anticoagulant? Like what?
No.
You see, we've just encountered a lot of blood and mushroom stuff, so it's kind of weird.
Or if I lean over and look at the blueprints, are these the mushrooms that were used in the trial, or are these different mushrooms, like the ones Mela was using as batteries?
It looks like the ones that are used in the trial.
Cool. So we've got shepherd mushrooms, blood, both things that were probably used in the fun drink that we take.
And Ox, you would know, like, if you use the lighter, it uses up the lighter fluid, and you have to like refill it after you've used it a certain amount of times, or it will not work. If you stopped refilling it, then it would not work anymore. Against Scar. Honestly, I don't fully understand it myself. She gestures to the blueprint. Follow directions here. Best we could. Reshape some things, of course, to suit his taste. Apparently, it's a sort of vessel.
Where'd you find those blueprints?
Around here.
They like old? Ancient?
Yeah.
Ox, what exactly... No, have your laugh. Go on.
Sorry. It's just your expression was really good.
Moon does an amazing job acting.
Confirmed.
true.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
Yes. Ox, what exactly is it a vessel for?
He shuffles a little bit, scratches at the back of his neck. It's a vessel for my soul. I figured a ladder would be easy enough, small enough, discreet enough to keep on my person and hide.
So is your soul in there now?
Yeah, I already filled it with all the blood that it needed. Thought it might be best to do it away from the group.
Kian will cast Detect Magic and just kind of look around the room, but at Ox, and also give like Ox like an anxious kind of like pat on the shoulder.
It is a magical item, the lighter. It looks like transmutation.
When Kian looks around the room at the soul gems, does it have a similar look to those?
Yeah, I guess it would also have the, and this isn't technically a school, but we've been doing it like this. It also has the celestial aura to it that the soul gems also have. But it's not exactly the same. Georgette sees you feeling up Ox. It's not, he's not undead or some shit like that. It's not all of him, it's just part of him.
Just making sure. We've encountered a lot of weird stuff.
Does Georgette know that Kian is a vampire?
No.
Okay,
Ox
cool.
did not invent it.
Okay.
Ox just said it would be better to fill the lighter now.
Yeah.
So this will keep you safe from Scar. Does it also help in the oceans?
He looks to Georgette.
This like constant sort of disbelieving smirk kind of expression she's had on her face vanishes to genuine thoughtfulness. She nods, not in affirmation, but you know she's considering it. It might, but I can't say for sure. I mean, it helps protect you from detection through magical means. If someone's out there looking for you, it might be helpful, but she sort of shrugs. I've never made this before, so I haven't really been able to test it out.
Well, I guess I'll get back to you on it then.
You best.
I'm sure it's a relatively complex, sounds like it, piece of equipment, but very least delicate. So, anything you needed to take care of before we got going, or did we want to linger here? I'm not sure if glances up,
You don't need to linger.
sort of the feeling I got.
How insightful.
She said you singular. Don't need to linger.
Well,
If you want us out of your hair, we can go somewhere else for a little bit.
Yes, why don't we make ourselves scarce?
Yes, thank you for your hospitality. Good to meet you. Shall we go find a direction?
Yeah, there was just one thing left that I wanted to do before we left.
Okay.
I'll meet you outside in a little bit.
Alright. Yeah, Virgil will head back towards the exit. I'm
Alright.
gone.
You all step outside.
King gives a little wave.
King gives a wave, is that what you said?
Yeah. Very nice to meet you.
She raised her brow to Henry. She raises the opposite brow to you. Watches you go.
I go sit outside with my lion.
She looks to Ox. They seem, What the hell are you doing?
Well, they're the best I got right now. I don't know who else I'd be friends with or be traveling with.
You seem nice.
He cracks a smile. Yeah, they're some real good friends. I like them a lot.
Good. It's about time you found some good friends. She stands up.
He glances over to the lighter. I'm sort of nervous to light it.
She glances over to it as well. And nods. And it's fair.
Georgette, I know I say this every time, but thank you for taking care of me. I really needed to come home for a little bit and see you. I don't mean to get all sappy on you, but it was nice, and I'd like to come again with maybe my friends next time. Not for long, just a short visit.
She doesn't really look at Ox while he gets sappy on her. Just kind of like almost impatiently, still tapping her foot on the floor, looks down. But she finally meets Ox's eyes. She's cracking a smile too, a bit. They could come by another time if they want, but they're gonna have to sleep outside.
I figured we could find a place to camp.
You know you're welcome back whenever you want.
His smile gets a little bigger. Thanks.
But the more times you thank me, the more likely you'll find the door locked.
Well, I guess it's time to get going then. Was like the least awkward way for him to do it, because she's so short.
She does not feel insulted or demeaned if Ox kneels down.
He'll kneel down to give her a hug.
She hugs him back pretty tightly, and then steps back. Don't forget that.
Yeah, I definitely won't. And he'll collect his letter and fold up the blueprint. Should I leave this here with you, or should I take it?
Well, I'll look into it if you leave it, but it's yours.
He'll put it in his pocket. Until next time. I'll see you then.
Next time.
And with that, he will leave.
She doesn't follow you to the door. She just kind of watches you go. You shut the door behind you.
He pauses for a second when he closes the door behind him and just takes a deep breath outside the cool night air to refresh him. And he'll look over for the group.
Kian has the maps in hand and looks to Ox. I think we have a lot to catch up on. Do you have a good place where you'd kind of be out of the way?
Yeah, I know a spot not too far from here. Let's go up to the rock that Ian and I used to climb all the time.
Lead the way.
He will guide them over to the rock. It's not terribly difficult to get up there. Probably as you're climbing, like, Ox will reach out a hand to you to make sure that you don't struggle too much.
If you have a 7 in strength, how?
Do you need me to carry you?
Yeah.
You're so small.
You can turn into a bat.
Oh.
Do you have advantage to turn back to a...
Yeah, I think
Okay.
at this point you've
Okay.
practiced quite a bit.
Yeah, Keen looks behind them and then poops.
Bat?
They'll fly to the top and attempt to turn back. 14?
Yeah. Poof.
Virgil will cast light to give us something to see by.
You are in luck. It is a clear night with the light of the moons and also Virgil's magic. You can pretty easily clamber your way up there. Those of you who can't flutter your way up there.
I think Ox goes first to try to show all of the, like, footholds and areas that it's easy to step in. It's large enough that they can all gather around comfortably in a circle.
We'll lay out the maps and maybe use some rocks to hold the corners down.
Do we want to plan what we're doing next? Or there's some big things that have sort of happened that you might want to know.
Like a big thing, really?
I would say multiple.
Ox glances over to Henry. Henry, I sort of noticed that your horn looks different.
You knew about the... Don't tell me you forgot about...
So, you went through with it then?
Yes.
Well, you remember what I said. I said I'd support you on your decision either way.
Yes. Yes. I don't know. It's strange to talk about it in post, I suppose, if that makes any sense. Because in a day-to-day basis, nothing's all that different right now. That doesn't change. There won't be anything dramatic I should look forward to, right, Virgil?
In my experience, you sort of figure it out as you go.
Probably won't be anything dramatic then.
Are we not going to talk about it then?
Don't necessarily know if there's a whole lot to talk about. I mean, I sort of knew that there had to be something of a kind of a death aspect, but you should have seen Umbra. It's a rather sudden and dramatic stabbing. I think I technically died for a period, but not on a permanent basis. But I don't think that constitutes me as an undead.
No,
So-
I don't think so.
She didn't really tell me much going into it. I think, the anticipation would be,
Worse than, yeah,
right.
just being surprised with it. Virgil, is that what happened when you went through your trial? Did you get stabbed?
I tried to tell you. You would have to die.
The methodology was the surprise part.
It's quickest.
It wasn't a fun experience,
No, it is not.
considering the alternative of dying slowly. That's worse. So,
Are we going to talk about your current circumstances?
as it
As in you touched Kian's hand the other day and flinched as if you were burned.
The hell is up with that?
just that physical contact isn't really for me as much anymore.
But that's never been the case, Henry.
It's
Ox will reach out with a gloved hand toward Henry's hand.
Also gloved.
yeah.
Glove on glove action.
Oh, that makes it hornier, actually. Sorry.
And he'll just try to sort of take Henry's hand in his.
Henry lifts up a few fingers to meet Ox's. It's not as bad with clothing. It's more, I suppose, if I'm describing it more. People feel very hot except for Virgil. Not just because he's got that lower body temperature thing going on with him. It's I don't know what causes it.
Because we are the same now.
Ox will pull his hand back and remove the glove.
Remove Henry's glove?
No, his own glove. Well, if my soul is separate from my body, then do you think it would be the same as if you touch Virgil?
I mean, Errol's the same as Virgil.
We didn't really discuss Errol.
No.
I don't think Errol has tried to touch Henry much.
Ox just holds out his ungloved hand.
I suppose we can give it a try. Henry mirrors him. He's the one finger at a time kind of bitch. To give a tentative little, like, limp hand grasp to Ox.
This is so much gayer than it needed to be.
No, I needed to be gay.
Yeah.
Correct.
What happens, Dad?
Ox, will you roll a d20 for me, please?
19.
Henry, Ox's hand feels comfortably warm on yours.
Seems to be alright.
Ox sort of gives your tentative fingers a little, like, squeeze. It's not too hot.
No, which is strange. Henry does take his hand in full in that while he's thinking. I mean, I suppose maybe it's a connection to the soul gem, the Dawn Shepherd initiation ritual piece, and the contraption that you've created, the lighter, is similar enough to that. But it does make me sort of wonder why in the first place. Can I no longer handle the entirety of someone's soul? I suppose I'll have to be the one poetic over that.
Well, I'm glad that you can still handle me, my soul, I guess, then.
Honestly, so am I. It's strange, because, I don't know, but a lot of little sensations in that way have been somewhat different. It's not quite as bad with Delilah, but still there to some degree. But, yeah. I'm sure I'll get used to it, you know?
Yeah, just like anything. It'll take some time, but I'm sure it'll be okay.
There's other big things we need to discuss too, right, Kian?
Kian is watching this with some fascination, I think. I mean, that was a big one. We're not working with Navain.
Relief just washes over his, like, posture, you can tell.
Kian nods. With that though, there's some reports saying that you kidnapped Henry. So both of you should be pretty careful.
I'm pretty sure it was a collective we kidnapped Henry. So, not just you.
Okay. You and Ox and Curate
are wanted by the law, yep.
Probably Navain's doing.
Well, nothing really new there for me, so I guess we just won't be able to visit Donnan or see your parents for a while. Maybe it's best if I don't see them again.
Well, with the whole Navain situation, it'd be a bad time anyways, so...
Yeah.
And, this one's not, like, as big, but, Lo.
He nods.
He sort of appeared on top of the carriage. And I think Keen's just gonna go over basically how that conversation went. I don't really know what that means, but, it's interesting.
It's weird that you saw him on top of the carriage.
I thought I heard him in the oceans just after the Falcon. But maybe I was imagining things.
Am I imagining things, or did the voice of the light that Virgil spoke to also sound a bit like Lo at one point? I know it was kind of switching voices.
Roll a history check.
Tells me.
11.
You don't remember what the voice sounded like.
At all.
No. You remember what it said
Okay.
and that it spoke, but you don't remember what it sounded like.
I could have sworn the same thing happened to me. That I heard him speak in my mind.
Where?
I think at the same time as you, roughly, after the Falcon.
Kian just nods along.
Put him on as another item on our list of mysteries.
It's a really long list, but it's kind of fun that way.
If I can inquire about something on that list. Kian, what's in your pocket?
Kian takes the gem out of their pocket.
Yeah, okay.
I was going to tell you there just wasn't a chance.
Okay. Okay, we know where it is. It's better than not knowing.
Look, if you're going to be upset with someone, you'd probably be upset with me. Because back when we were in that inn, in Freya, well, I think you actually ended up noticing the hole in your pocket, which was relatively convenient for me. But I found it when it fell onto the floor and kept hold of it.
Sorry, Henry. I don't need an essay. We know where it is. It's fine.
Is that a actual it's fine, or is this more of an it's fine that's going to come
Just
back to me?
accept the it's fine. Okay.
Okay.
Alright. Where are we going next?
Ox glances down at the map. There are new points marked on the map that he hasn't seen before, right?
Yes. One of them down here near somewhere and nowhere. You're fairly sure is where you are standing right now. There are a lot more like specific, smaller locations marked on this one. So instead of just wide circles, you see an open circle down in the south, near or in the island of Enian, which is one of the other larger major islands. There's one where Dawning is. This one is filled in. There's one close to where you had your mission in Freya. That one is also filled in. There's one between Dawning and Enosh. Ox, that location is also familiar to you. That one is not filled in.
You mean because it's the haven that we...
Yes, but that's not why it's familiar to Ox. The circle where you are standing is not filled in. There is a open circle at what Virgil would know as Good Glen Valley Outpost. There are lines covering the most major Good Love rail lines. The one of them has been roughly crossed out. The line from Dawning to somewhere. And then there is a wider circle sort of around the forest region of Dawning. That one has also partially been crossed out in the south, but not entirely. There's also one to the mountains in the southeast, a location I think probably pretty unfamiliar to all of you.
But that's where the star was
Yes.
on the other map.
Yes. But I don't think it's a place any of you have gone because it's pretty out of the way as far as traveling goes. Virgil, you have faced some certain danger in that region of the continent, but not past this mountain range. Not quite where this circle is.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, did that happen near the one that's closer to Enian?
The lioning?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, well, we have a few locations marked here. One of them is the Haven outside of Enosh. And if there are any similarities between what symbols are used, I wonder if there is one near where we are now. Ox, do you know where this location would be? And he'll point to the one by Slate's Edge.
Well, that's nearly where we are now.
Any body of water?
No bodies of water around here, no.
Any underground cave networks? Not occupied by Georgette?
I mean, the only other cave that I know about around here is the old Cliburn Crew hideout. Yeah, it's hard to say. I mean, on a map this big. Maybe use some detect magic. This is not a bad lookout spot. Try coming up here tomorrow morning too, when there's more light out.
Yeah, shall we begin with this one, since we're right on top of it?
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. But after that,
I mean, I thought we had wanted to go to Enosh. Or the one by Enosh.
Perhaps we look for this one first and then Enoch?
Yeah, maybe our decision will be influenced by whatever we find here.
Ox would know that on the map, the spot marked near Enosh would be...
What are you not... What was that? Say that out loud for the class. What?
Don't worry about it, babe.
Stop. What does that mean?
Maybe you'll find out.
Yeah.
Can I speak Italian?
No!
But the spot marked on the map, is that where the haven that we all visited was?
It looks like it could be, yeah. It looks like that could be a part of it. Again, like, this is a circle that is a bit too large to be that specific, but it is that area.
Okay.
Well, I'm wondering if this spot up more toward Enosh is, I kind of always wanted to see it. Have you ever heard of the mysterious dome up there?
Dad? Have I?
No.
One dumb stuff.
Just dumb stuff.
I don't believe so, no.
I don't really know a whole lot about it. I don't think anyone really does. I've seen it in books before. Let's go there next then.
Okay. But what exactly is it? What have you read about it?
God, it was so long ago that we talked about this.
long ago.
I don't think that you knew much. I think it was like what you read, in a passage in book that you read. A large dome-shaped structure made of some sort of obsidian black material. When in contact with magic, the faint hint of glyphs or drawings would appear. The soil beneath looked the same as its surroundings, but shovels had no effect, and the object could not be moved from its location. So it is difficult for people to get a look at it when trying to keep safe in the oceans.
How big are we talking? Like a house?
Like a house.
A house.
Ox reiterates, what he had read from as best as he could from his memory. Kind of always wanted to go see it. Been on my bucket list, so to say.
Yeah, that definitely warrants investigating.
Do we want to go back to the carriage and sort of explain what our next steps are? Or I could message Ophelia if we wanted to spend the night here so we could get a better view in the morning.
It's warmer in the carriage.
Yes, probably a bit nicer.
The desert at night is pretty cold unless you're geared up for it.
Well, should we head on back?
There was just one more thing I wanted to do before we go.
Do you want company for it?
Yeah, I think I'd like that.
Okay.
Ox pulls out a letter from his right pocket. It's not in an envelope or anything, just an old piece of paper. He'll sort of unfold it a little bit and take out his lighter. And for the first time, he will ignite the lighter and sets the letter on fire. He holds it for as long as he can before the flames lick up too close towards his gloves and cast it out to let the wind catch it and let it finish burning up.
Ox, you feel a hand on your forearm as the letter goes up in flames.
Dear Andelian, it's been a while. I'm not much of one to write many letters. I've been thinking about you a lot again. Hard not to when I've been walking the paths we used to walk together. The desert doesn't hold the same warmth that it did when you were around. It's still beautiful. In fact, maybe I've noticed just how beautiful recently. The bright blue of the wide open sky, how the sunlight shines through the thickets of cactus, layers of rock painting the landscape, and the way the sand moves with the winds. It's still beautiful, but it makes me want to enjoy it with you. I like to imagine you can feel it too when I'm outside basking in the sun. Life has certainly been different without you around. It's taken a while, but I'm picking up the pieces as I move forward. I found some new friends to travel with, maybe a little more gentle than I'm used to. They're not really a rowdy bunch by any means, but they know how to hold their own in a fight. I think you'd like Henry a lot, or maybe you'd like to hate Henry a lot, but I think the two of you would have a lot of fun together, arguing over the little things and agreeing when it comes to games of chance. I told Henry that he was my best friend. It's still a little weird to think of anyone else taking that title. You were my first real friend, and I still think of you as my best friend, even now. You were the one who showed me how to feel alive when I was too scared to take a chance or move forward. You were there to grab me by the hand and pull me out of it. Riding on top of the train, hooting and hollering at the stars, skirting the edge of the ocean, playing with black powder when we shouldn't have been. I could do it all because of you. I can still do it all because of you. On the days that it's hard to do it for myself, I do it because you would want me to. The grief is like a knife in my heart still, but it's getting duller with time. I've been trying to let go of the things holding me down and looking for more hands to help lift me up. I think I'm starting to find the right people. If only I could find the right path to be on, but maybe they'll help guide me there. There's so much to tell you, but I don't have nearly enough parchment or time to tell it all yet. Until then, I hope you're well and raising hell wherever you are. All my love, Oxalis.
And the lighter burns.
I think after the letter has finished burning, he'll close the lighter.
And as you close the lighter, the click, that feeling vanishes as well.
That was it. It was just a letter for Anne. I thought I'd send off to him before we leave.
I think wherever he is, it'll find him.
Yeah, I think he knows.
You ready to head down?
Yeah.
Ophelia opens the door, takes you all in. Everything all right?
Yeah?
All right, come in.
Thank you.
Is it okay if Ox stays here for the night?
Of course, you can stay as long as you want.
Well, as appealing as that sounds, it sounds like we might be parting ways in the next day or two.
She sighs and nods. That's sort of what I assumed, but I figured I may as well extend the offer.
Thanks, I appreciate it.
It's good to see you again.
I missed you. I hope you've been well as you can.
Oh, yes. As well as I can. Your friend, well, you know Errol, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Wanted me to ask you if there is a town or city nearby that has bars.
Yeah, we're not far from Slate's Edge. It's actually where I grew up. I have sort of a reputation, so I can't go into town as myself.
Reputation, all right. We have masters of disguise here. Your friend would like to go get drunk somewhere.
Yeah, sure. Did they express a desire for company?
She glances over to Ox and back to you and just kind of shrugs. But there's a bit of a smile on her face. I'm sure anyone could come along if they want.
Well, I wouldn't be too upset to keep Errol company.
Someone has to show them around.
What's the vibe, guys? Are we all going? Are some of us going? Are we just gonna let Ox and Errol smash without interference? Not that we're gonna interfere, but I mean, you know, without anyone tagging along.
I'm trying to decide if I want to do the thing I'm gonna do before we go get drunk, and I think that makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Could you give me maybe 10, 15 minutes? There is something I'd like to do before we go, and I think going out for drinks might be for the best afterwards.
What if we could all get ready in some nice clothes? Make a night out of it? Keen looks to Ox. I don't have magic that will work.
My face is pretty recognizable.
Unless you want to be like an animal, that's probably...
I don't think they'll let us give alcohol.
Yeah, maybe not an animal.
We can dress you up a bit differently. We've snuck into places before and not been recognized, so...
Yeah.
As the group starts to figure out their evening plans, Virgil will catch Kirit. Could I actually bother you to keep me company for this stupid thing I'm about to do?
Sure. How stupid are we talking? Sure, let's go.
Thank you. He will head back towards the area with all of the hammocks and find a quiet corner. And he will beckon for Blossom to come and lay down next to him, and he'll just pat the top of her head as he sits. Sorry to bother you, I think I want company for this. At least I don't want to be alone when I come out of it.
No bother. Is there anything you need me to do in particular?
Just be here. I don't think it will be long. Let it happen, I think.
Kirit will sit down across from Virgil.
He'll take a big breath and remove his earring and set it in the palm of his hand. Dig his fingers into Blossom's fur and close his eyes.
Do you cast Grim Psychometry?
It's not a spell.
Yeah.
I think he just sinks into the energy of the earring. I don't know if that's good or bad, but it's a natural 1.
I mean, it's a pretty bad number to get.
Does it mean I don't remember anything, or does it mean I get the maximum amount of fucked? It's up to you, Dad.
You try to access this history, and the feeling is kind of reminiscent to a time in the past where you tried to, I believe...
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
It does say I have advantage. Would you let me roll again?
Yeah.
18.
18 is close to 20, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, mathematically.
Can I have you... I'm going to give you something, don't worry. But can I have you roll the d20 one more time?
3.
Okay. You try to sink into the memory of this gem in your hand.
If he can guide the stream of memory at all, he's trying to avoid the killing of his friends. He wants to know the things that Rowan has been hiding, purposefully.
The gem is fracturing more in your hand. And then you see it fracture again and again, like a record scratching. It just sort of like starts and stops. And you are in the arena, the one back on the Phoenix grounds in Dawning. And you stand tall over your opponents, but there are many of them, dressed in armor and robes, and you don't feel the fear that, Virgil, you know that you should, as one of them strikes you through the chest, and you are too exhausted to fight back, and you fall to your knees, and the world goes dark as you fall to the ground. And as you wake, the glow of healing magic starting to fade, you look and see the gem on the floor in the dirt, golden and crumbling. Just a piece, not a hole, not a circle, just a shard, gone. And you stand back up and stagger Blood falls to the ground. You turn to the next enemy. Healing magic again courses through you, and you're able to straighten your back. You're able to wield your sword again, and you dive in, and they taunt you, and they fight you, and they fight you until you are down again, and they stab you through the heart again, and you fall to the soil again, and the world goes dark again. And as you open your eyes, you see there is a shard on the ground, and it crumbles to dust in the dirt again, and you stand up, and healing magic courses through you, and you swing your sword, and you fight, and there are more, and there are more, and you feel that same familiar welcome cold as you fall to your knees and fall to the ground, and the world goes dark, and you open your eyes, and there is a shard of gem in front of you, golden and gleaming before it turns to dust in the dirt, and healing magic courses through you again as you stand up again and wield your sword again until they drive it through your heart again, and you fall. And the pieces keep crumbling. Each time a new piece, each time turning to dust. And you stand again.
He comes out of it with a jolt. He will just bury his face in Blossom's fur. And for the first time that you've ever seen, he puts the earring on the ground and doesn't touch it. He will just take a few minutes.
Here it breathes loudly and slowly, trying to be present audibly and also to give Virgil something to imitate to calm himself.
That helps. His breathing will slow, and when he sits back up, you see him tracing the lines on the palm of his hand over and over. That seems to help too. And he is visibly afraid when he reaches for the earring again, but he will. And when the memories don't come back, he'll put it back on. Thank you for being here.
Of course. Did you find what you were trying to find?
I don't know. A piece of it, maybe. And you know, despite everything, that wasn't as bad as I thought it could be. Maybe that is for another night. Okay, and he will clap his hands together and stand up. Do you want to go get shit-faced?
Sounds great.
Okay.
Ox, how do you want to disguise yourself? They have wigs, they have like fake facial hair, they've got plenty at their disposal.
Maybe a wig and some fake facial hair, because he's afraid of his face being like too recognizable. Let's just say he goes with like a brown wig and like a dark brown beard.
Yeah.
Maybe like almost like the length of Curate's hair.
Twins twinning!
They cover up your freckles, your tattoos. Ophelia actually finds little fake horns to put on your head, leans back. You look like a perfectly respectable, totally legal tiefling now, I would say.
Much better than an outlaw, I think.
Do all tieflings have tails?
He lost it in the horrible tail incident.
Yeah.
Don't ask.
I don't like to talk about it, actually.
And you all go out for a night out?
As fun as getting completely plastered sounds, I believe I'm going to stay back for the night. I just think if we're all sort of seen in the same place so soon after the issuing of my apparent kidnapping, and I know I could go about the whole disguise business, but just think it'd be easier if I hang back here for...
Are you sure? We can figure something out.
At least one of us has to be sober at the end of this, right?
I didn't see why that should be the case.
Can I insight check Henry
Yeah.
right now? That's, I don't have any addition to that. That is an 8.
I mean, he says he wants to stay back.
It's not nice to pressure people to drink. We should just go. Let
Very
Henry
true.
have his night in.
Yeah, no problem. Virgil will loop an arm around Errol's and head off.
Errol does look over their shoulder as y'all leave back at Henry. You can tell he kind of maybe isn't feeling the same way about this as Kian is, but they don't say anything. He, just before exiting, manages to grab Ox and pull Ox in a little bit closer and loop his arm around Ox's.
Ox will happily let it happen.
Henry does notice Errol's look and gives him a little wave. The finger wave.
The what?
The finger wave.
The gay finger wave.
Ophelia's like, I should probably stay behind. And as you all start to go, you make it about half a mile, and then you hear someone like running behind you.
Yeah.
And she runs up to you a bit out of breath. I haven't really done anything fun I'm going to just join in. And she loops an arm around Ox on the other side.
Please do.
Yeah, you're owed it.
Well, it's not too far. The more the merrier. Ox will lead the way to Slate's Edge. I think there's probably only one bar in town at Slate's Edge.
They definitely know you there, don't they?
I forgot if we discussed the Guardian situation in Slate's Edge. I know it was like
It's a mining town. It's like a little outpost of nowhere.
Ox. I think you know a kind of secret back alley entrance to Slate's Edge. And it is not highly guarded in the way that a place like Somewhere or the Phoenix Island would be. You can kind of slip in. There is a air elemental guardian to Nowhere, but they're not considered to be highly powerful or all-knowing in any way. People can slip in and out of this place. Ox, of all people, knows how to do that.
It's a sleepy little town.
Yeah.
Just one bar.
Do you want to roll deception?
Performance?
Performance or deception?
Deception. 14.
People glance over at you as you step into this little bar. This is the kind of place where it looks like this is where everyone goes if they're not going to sleep. They come here. So it's pretty lively. It's fairly warm and comfortable, if a bit rusted and dusty at the edges. But people don't really cast a second glance at you all besides the first curious look. Like I said, people can kind of slip in and out of this place. It's a small town, so everyone clearly clocks you as strangers, but they don't seem surprised to see strangers. There is music, like three-person band in the corner. There's what are some instruments? There's fiddle. That's all I got.
There's 3 fiddles.
Upright
Little
piano.
trio.
Yeah, fiddle,
Or is it
piano,
a
and
Accordion.
Yeah, there's the like.
accordion. Yeah, there's.
Interesting assortment.
But yeah, listen. It's a fiddle. It's a fiddle, an accordion, and an upright piano, and somehow they are managing to create a music that does sound like it is a cohesive piece. Kian, I think your ear is musical enough to be impressed by this.
It's very impressive.
This array.
Interesting. Slate's Edge music. It's a new genre.
You all dance the night away.
Kian gets really drunk really fast.
What are you wearing, Kian?
Kian wears the dress that Ophelia made them. They don't drink that much. They're just kind of a lightweight.
Featherweight. That was your opportunity?
Yeah, they're kind of a featherweight,
There you go.
actually. They're very happy to have, like, everybody back together. Henry's here in spirit and not too far away. And that's relief enough.
Virgil is quick to follow suit. He doesn't drink to the point of being, like, hammered, but he will drink to get tipsy purposefully and stay that way for the night.
Kieran's in a similar boat as Virgil. He's not trying to go wild, but let loose a little bit and bask in the good company and chat with everyone.
Ox orders a double of his favorite whiskey while he's in town. He doesn't try to get drunk right away, but he does get tipsy pretty quickly so that he can dance longer with Errol.
Errol makes their rounds between you all. Errol asks, "I love what he has," when Ox orders, but doesn't drink anything beyond that. At some point, Ox, if you'll allow it, Errol does take you by the arm and pull you in the direction of the door.
Ox allows it.
They pull you outside, just to the side exit, not the main entrance. There is a lingering scent of smoke in the air as someone has clearly finished their smoke break. It is good to see you again. I was not sure if we would be able to before I parted from everyone.
Yeah, I was really hoping I'd get to see you again.
Do you have one of those cigars on you?
Yeah, I do. And Ox will take out a cigar and expertly light it.
Your soul lighter?
Yeah. Go
Yeah,
between.
I figure he would probably light most things with the soul lighter now. He understands the consequences of having to refill it, so he does count how many times he uses it, and I think he checks it pretty frequently, but that is the lighter with which he lights the cigar.
As you flick the lighter on, It's subtle, but the world around you changes a bit. It sort of happened to you that first time. Like, you feel like there's a presence around you. Nothing specific, not like before, but something in the air. And the lights around you seem a bit dimmer, and the stars above you seem a bit brighter. And it fades as soon as you click the lighter shut again. Errol takes the cigar and holds it kind of awkwardly between his pointer finger and thumb. I don't know how to do this, actually.
Well, I don't mind showing you. It's not that hard. Ox will take the lighter and show him how to hold it in a relaxed way, sort of resting on his middle finger with his pointer finger on top and his thumb in control. And he'll take not a big inhale. He doesn't want to give off the wrong impression for showing somebody their first time smoking a cigar. Hold it in his mouth for a second before he exhales. You, on the inhale, you'll hold it in your mouth for a bit. Don't suck it deep into your lungs, otherwise you'll be coughing all night.
They watch carefully, almost studiously, and nod and hold out their hand again to take it. Let me give them a little roll. They hold it, hesitate, and look over at Ox, and then draw in a breath, hold it in their mouth for a few seconds, and breathe out with just one little, like, as they do so. And their face twists a bit. Was that...
Yeah, that wasn't bad at all for your first time. It's definitely an acquired taste.
It is disgusting. They take another draw of the cigar. You just force yourself to like this, or was it enjoyable the first time?
It took a time or two. I didn't really understand it much. I think I grew up around a lot of people that like to smoke as a way to pass the time. So it smells familiar, and nowadays it tastes familiar. A lot of tobacco has different flavors and tastes depending on the freshness and where it's grown. Freya actually grows some of the best tobacco in the area. I'm pretty partial to Indian tobacco, though.
So you're a connoisseur of sorts?
Maybe you could say that. Maybe I've just had a little too much in my lifetime, and I know what I like now.
That is what a connoisseur is.
I guess it just sounds real fancy.
You can be fancy.
I suppose. It's been a bit of a while, but it feels nice to dress up and go out again, especially if I have nice company to keep.
They nod and fall quiet. Continue to take a few drags on the cigar.
You know, you don't have to smoke it if you don't want to.
I know. I can't really drink much anymore, so I need a new vice.
Maybe cigarettes might be a little easier for you.
I'm handling this just fine.
Outside the bar, Virgil orders another drink.
Eventually, he does hand it back to you, Ox, and sighs and kind of coughs as he does so. I'm going to miss getting to know you. It has been nice traveling with them, but it would have been nicer if you were there.
Do you plan to stay with the Winds?
I don't know what else to do, so yes.
I figure we'll probably see the Winds again.
Well, I will be living in the room of the carriage, so I will probably be wherever they are.
Do you have your own room in the carriage? Or are you sharing? I saw that there's sort of a bunch of hammocks.
No, I don't have to stay in the hammock. I am quarantined in a separate room. I assume in case I get hungry, it is probably best I am not around. And it has sunlight curtains.
Well, in some ways, I suppose it's nice to have your own room, but... well, I was thinking if you needed any company tonight, I wouldn't mind joining you. If you didn't mind.
Errol gives you a sharp side glance. I would not mind, but I think Mr. Goodlove would.
I don't think Henry would mind. At least, not out loud.
Neil, you can't hide your head in your hands. You can't hide from this.
Well, I just have like 30 thoughts, none of which God would approve.
He laughs. Anyways, my friend Zenzi has only just started to remember who I am, so I would prefer not to put whatever sort of half friendship we have at the moment at risk, but
I told him a while ago that he's sort of become my best friend, and that's true. I'd be lying if I said I hadn't considered otherwise occasionally, but that's sort of how my relationship with my last best friend was. It wasn't really spoken out loud, and the lack of talking about the boundaries of our relationship sort of soured. I think because I've set that boundary with Henry, he understands and respects that until we decide to change any boundaries.
Errol glances back at the door. I think you see Keen and Ophelia flounce by, dancing to the music, and looks back to you. Here's the thing. It is a very small space, so perhaps staying the night here would be a smarter decision.
I think Ox also glances back toward the door. Yeah, I think somewhere a little more private might be better. I wouldn't mind staying here at the inn.
They just kind of lean against Ox for a bit. You're all going to take care, right? You're out there. Everyone in this group seems a bit too much like Virgil in some ways. I would like to see you all again someday.
Ox puffs on the cigar and blows a little smoke ring. I'll definitely keep an eye on him. I've been trying to figure out what I can do more for Virgil, especially now that we're away from Donnan and Rowan. It's not that I think Rowan's a bad guy by any means, but Virgil certainly gets away around him. Makes me worry.
Just keep him away.
I think I can do that for a while.
He reaches for the cigar.
Ox will hand it to him.
Maybe cut to Henry for a moment.
It would definitely be back in like the main room. He's not being sneaky. Henry goes to the shared room that they all have to sit down on the floor with Delilah sitting across from him. He takes the necklace that he has with his gem in it. I understand that there's supposed to be some sort of, I don't know, something that the shepherds do to, I don't know, communicate, understand. We're going to try that. As if Delilah would be involved in the process, but she seems receptive at least to be getting attention. It gets a little wag. I'm trying to think if you've like really seen Virgil do his like meditation thing.
You probably would. He does
Yeah.
it every day.
So he's winging it. He's gonna do it. It worked with the Phoenix, so like actually it could work with this. Mixed results of cradling it in his lap, sitting cross-legged. Just think about it. Closes his eyes. Don't know if I'm supposed to ask a question or maybe just be quiet. I don't think he talks. He doesn't talk during it. And tries focusing in on the gem.
Roll a wisdom check.
Okay.
I would love to be a fly on the wall in a room watching Henry Goodlove try to meditate. It's almost like teaching Errol to meditate.
Yeah.
11.
It is difficult to concentrate, Henry. You were unaccustomed, from what I can glean, you were unaccustomed to meditation. So even just falling into that calm, empty-minded state is difficult for you, especially with everything that has happened still swirling through your mind. What did you get?
11.
I love watching you make faces
Yeah.
behind the DM screen.
There's a moment a feeling overcomes you like you're floating nowhere and nothing and you hear a voice say, "Welcome." And then that feeling vanishes, and you're back sitting here on the floor and still with the swirl of thoughts in your mind. That passing connection, like an eclipse, is gone.
I think you just created your account.
There was one number that I could have gotten to have made that possible, and I got it.
Ooh.
Henry, after that encounter, opens his eyes, takes a moment. Delilah looks at him curiously. He keeps the soul gem, tucks it back into his shirt, his vest, gets up, goes to grab a few things from the kitchen, and comes back, sorry in advance, Ophelia, with some kindling in a bowl. This time he sits farther back from Delilah and has her keep a little bit of a distance because it is fire and, you know, sometimes, oh, whoa, what's this? Lights the contents of the bowl, plants both one hand on each side of it to kind of lean over it, like he's trying to will something to happen, and holds his breath in that position for a moment.
Y'all love to do wild warlock shit. Just like, is this anything?
Is there a tiny god in this fire? We'll find out.
I ask that every time I look at fire.
It, like before, does both lean towards you and not quite touch you.
And I probably should have mentioned it earlier, but he's been relatively avoidant of flames if they've been doing a campfire or anything like that. I'll go hang out, you know? There's things to be done in the cabin and has been taking chores and such, so it would not put him in the position to be super close to the campfire, partially because he was like, what if it's Scar? But he's going to try to touch it.
The flames reach up and sort of lick around your palm, your fingers, and you feel that it's warm. It doesn't burn.
Can he pick up the kindling?
You can. As you're doing so, sort of like imposed over your own memory, not in a way that takes you out of where you are now. Like if you're reading a book and imagining what you were reading, you see Ophelia just making some sort of stew in this pot. He chops up some vegetables and then throws them in. There's nothing like particularly interesting about the scene, but for the fact that you are seeing it and don't recall watching it, especially not from this angle, from beneath the pot.
Wait, I'm sorry, to clarify. Like, as if he is the flame in the pot, looking
Under
up
the
at
pot?
Ophelia?
Yeah.
Heard, chef.
He tries asking, just out of curiosity, what happens next?
I mean, I think you just see Ophelia reach forward and turn a knob. The vision vanishes.
Henry puts the kindling back, brought the lid for said pot to suffocate the fire as well. And probably some water too. He's got his fire safety in mind. Even if he's not necessarily included in that, and then sits back, smiles a little bit at Delilah. Well, that'd be interesting, I think. Probably have to see if Virgil knows anything more, but definitely different. Rest of his night is just cleaning up, doing the usual brushing for Delilah, because this is very important. Taking down some thoughts in his notebook.
Did the rest of you head back that evening without Ox and Errol?
Yeah, I think so.
Late that night, Ox and Errol break off from the rest of the group. Errol gives Virgil a little wink. I'm going to stay behind a bit longer, but you can go back. I don't have to sleep, so... And this one does not sleep, so...
Have fun not sleeping.
I will.
He just turns around.
Virgil is not drunk enough and too drunk for this.
No, he's used to this.
Ox has a shit-eating grin on his face.
Would you like to roll dexterity, just for fun?
Just for fun.
Oh, my health is pretty good. Not a natural 20, but...
Cheated of not being able to roll a sex check.
Ox was pretty drunk. It was only a 10.
That's not bad. That's fine. 10 is good.
Drunk, but...
Yeah, as long as it's not like a 3 or below. You know, like, it's a good time. Okay, the rest of you head back. Ophelia clearly did not control herself very well on this night out. And so she kind of clings to Kian as you all head back.
I think Kian and Ophelia are probably very loudly talking the whole way back.
Really ought to take in the waist a little bit more. I think I'm so sorry. Completely fucked that up. But you look perfect, I swear. I should probably do this more often.
Wait, are they both wearing dresses?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh.
Kira does not offer them piggyback rides. Actually, no, Kira does offer them piggyback rides. Oh, wait.
No, it's okay.
I don't know how the skirts,
It's a really nice.
I've got
Like,
blaz,
wide
it's
skirt.
fine.
Okay, get on!
Both of them.
Do you want to
No, I wanted to tell you.
You should go first.
Virgil will offer.
I call Virgil. Ophelia leaps onto your back,
Kian jumps on Kieran's back.
and you carry them home.
It's a race.
Race, I'm winning.
What are...
Ophelia puts her hands over your eyes, Virgil.
Okay.
Can you do the same? I used to do this all the time. Don't
Wait.
worry, it's fine.
Can I see through Blossom's eyes? Can Virgil cheat?
Yeah.
Kira's not gonna cheat.
What am I
He's too good
rolling?
for that.
He's a dog.
Okay, Kian, so what we do is we direct them and they run as fast as they can towards the carriage. And it's up to us to keep them from totally fucking killing us.
Okay, as fast as we can.
As fast as you can.
Faster.
Yes.
Okay. He casts Expeditious Retreat.
Alright, I'll have Kian and Ophelia roll
I mean, my base speed is
survival
faster.
at disadvantage.
Literally roll survival.
I think we... Okay, so you're 5.
I got a 17.
Here's the thing. He can go faster. He can hit warp drive.
And I'll have the two of you roll. I think there's a dexterity aspect
Okay,
here.
fair enough, fair
If
enough.
it's acrobatics, he does start whistling. Because then I get advantage on the roll.
Maybe just straight dex.
He's not
that's
trying. He's not trying to hide that he's
visual.
casting. But Ophelia said as fast as you can, and he's obeying.
Also, Kira can't see because Kian's covering Kira's eyes.
Kian's like, Virgil's cheating. Do you have anything that you can do?
What did Virgil get?
I need to check if Tasha's hideous laughter has visual.
24.
And
I mean, I could polymorph you into something faster.
A cheetah.
Do a pronged.
Oh, a pronged antelope?
Yes.
Kian just like taps on your shoulder. Is it okay if I do something really wild? Are you okay?
Sure, fuck.
Yeah. Kian casts polymorph. And you are a...
A
Antelope.
pronged
It's
horned
a,
antelope.
Virgil is going 135 feet a turn.
You rolled 24 for dex. You should also roll for dex.
I'm rolling for
Yes.
dex. Do I get anything from being an antelope?
Yes, I will just kind of lower
You'll
the
do
DC.
it?
Yeah.
Rad.
Maximum mile per hour on the antelope is 61 miles per hour.
Jesus
Whoa.
Christ. 12.
12? Okay. You kind of stumble around a bit, both in a unfamiliar form and with your eyes covered by Kian. Virgil got 24.
Yeah.
Virgil ends up breaking ahead just by a little bit, thanks to being accustomed to his own body. But both Kian and Ophelia do impressively good jobs at guiding you, despite their drunken states. It's almost like they've done this before. So you both kind of end up breathless and reach a certain point that seems arbitrary to you. Ophelia is like, all right, stop. I think that's enough. Good job. I hope you're prepared to carry us the rest of the way, but you can go at your own pace. And removes her hands from your eyes.
Virgil does immediately take a puff of his inhaler.
God, I'm so sorry.
No, that's what's great.
Okay. I'll get off of your back.
You don't have to.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. And she rests her head on your shoulder.
Are you happy being like this?
Kirit is just staring sort of past you
Oh, this
with
is-
eyes that face in two different directions.
Kind of scary. A little bit unsettling. I'm gonna just give him, dismiss it.
Imagine you're drunk and a deer's looking at you.
Imagine you're a drunk deer.
Imagine you're a drunk deer.
Wait, Kira turns back to a person.
Yeah. You can stop that now.
That was wild.
In a good way. We
Yeah.
almost won there.
I forgot you could do that.
I think we should do that again sometime.
Without cheating, or?
I think that cheating's kind of the fun of it.
There's no rules. Let's go back.
Can you do that to me sometime? Maybe not a deer, but...
Whatever you want.
Virgil walks back towards the carriage, dreaming of being a cat in front of the fire.
You should be like a wolf or a husky with nice, soft, long fur.
I can see that really well, actually.
Right?
Yeah, I think it kind of just fits.
Good night, everyone. Ophelia hops off of your back and goes off
I'm gonna
to bed.
I'm gonna go up on the carriage at the top.
Oh, I want uppies.
I was planning on doing something kind of.
Oh,
You could
never
be
mind.
there, you
Sorry,
could be
no.
It'll be fine.
I'll go inside.
Right. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I'm gonna go stumble off and curl up with my lion. Oh shit, he'll come out of the carriage and give Orna some pets and then go back in.
Yeah.
Kian goes to the top of the roof and sits in the center of it and kind of falls back.
Lo
And
falls back next to you.
okay, so I was gonna try to talk to the Akos. Maybe you could help me. Hi.
Hey,
Do you want to talk right now, or should I talk to the Akos?
they don't say anything. It's a comfortable sort of silence.
Eliakos, I'd really like to talk to you right now, because you haven't really talked to me at all in every year of me growing up, or anything. And I'd really like to have a conversation, because I don't really know what your whole deal is, or my whole deal is, or what I'm doing. I think you kind of owe that to me to talk about this. If you can talk about this. Can we talk?
I love drunk Keegan. That was really good.
Really good.
Can they have inspiration?
Yeah.
Kian starts just staring at the stars, speaking this awake, and kind of drifts into that space that they know they can usually talk to Aelin from.
As you mumble and fumble your way into your dreamscape, you find it white and empty, and that feeling of being drunk is gone here. And much like before, ahead of you, you see that the shape of the Kieran, the long tail, winding branch-like horns above its head, and it looks towards you. And it doesn't open its mouth to speak, but you hear a voice coming from all angles at once. Who are you? And that is where we'll end our session for tonight.
Sexy.
Oh shit.
Mwah.
What? Was that your antelope sound?
Been building up a wall, laying mortar onto brick. Been building up a wall, 'cause you just make me sick. When that wall's between you and me, that's the way it should always be. And I've been filling up the sea, mixing water in with salt. I've been filling up the sea, 'cause this was all your fault. When we stand on separate shores, I'll simmer just a little more. Always fighting over something these days, crying over nothing either way. You've been building up a railroad, laying rails and stakes and wood. You've been building up a railroad, like it'll do you any good. When that train is on the tracks, we can put all this at our backs.
What is different about the lighter? Like, you didn't die, but...
I'm suspicious that it's like a finite resource.
Well, it is, but it can be refilled.
Yeah.
But what
It's
I
like
think,
blood hunters, but
I mean,
not.
sort of.
Yeah, like
Georgette mentioned that it'll take a really long time for the mushrooms to go out, but I assume he will have to re-up the mushrooms.
Well, we're gonna go to
eventually.
mushroom places
also
and we can
like-
stock up.
is it really that your whole soul is in there, or you're just kind of spreading your soul?
Is it
in?
like a piece?
like
I think it might just be.
yeah,
It's
because it
a
kind of
very small amount. This,
Yeah,
this
'cause it's
just
just
doesn't have to be
blood.
theorized. Yes, spread Ox's soul out a little bit more. Even like Virgil's and Henry's is more than this, but it's still not their entire soul.
Yeah.
yeah.
This is even less, and that's why Ox doesn't have like blood hunter abilities.
You're fucking cheating. You've like hacked your way in.
There are pros and cons.
Yeah. You don't get asthma. That's a pro.
He doesn't need the asthma. He's a smoker.
Because I'm like, you can refill it with the blood part, right? But I'm like, does the like soul part regenerate?
The soul part.
I think it just like temporarily like does a little shield and then we'll
Well,
like
I think it's like
I don't know.
when there's blood in there, it spreads the soul, but like it uses up the blood, but you still have more blood that you can refill it to like kind of spread the soul.
Yeah, I don't
blood.
think there is any subtracting of the soul.
Yeah, I don't think the soul slowly disappears.
But what
I don't
if it
think
runs
so.
out of blood and mushrooms?
Well, to be fair, nobody knows whether or not it actually like has a depletion of the soul. And it could be like you don't really notice it in like the short term, but like maybe it's like one of those consequences. Like the more times you use it, they like stack on top of each other.
I
sort
can't
of thing.
believe
It starts
Oxen's
to burn
soul
away.
is slowly
Yeah.
draining away.
Or maybe if it's like if you use it too many times in like succession, then it becomes like more than can be like regenerated or something like that.